And good morning, my beautiful America. I'm Ian Gordon Hill. Welcome back to the All American Book Club. This is a special episode for both WMAL.com, also Pray.com, as we are headed into the 25th commemoration of 9/11. And we are bringing over to the show for the first time Executive Director Melissa Kithas. She is with the Airpower Foundation based out of Fort Worth, Texas. She leads programs and partnerships focused on honoring, supporting, and empowering military service members, veterans, and their families through innovative solutions, strategic collaborations, and meaningful engagement. Most recently, they have been featured and talking about their newest veteran mental health programs and the Veteran Workforce Development Program, the Service Dog Program, and the Airpower Foundation Equine Therapy and Retreat Program. Please help me welcome to the show, Melissa Kithas. It's so great to have you here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Eden. It's so wonderful to be here. And thank you for hosting us and allowing us some time to talk about Airpower.
Absolutely. So, okay, we have so many things to talk about, and I absolutely love the Airpower Foundation. A special thanks to our mutual friend, Jennifer Nickerson, who introduced us. And I want to lean into something you and I talked about a week ago. And it was and is the mental health epidemic of this nation. But we see, especially as we get closer and closer to the 9/11 anniversary, we see things happening within our military community and our veteran community, especially. And so I want us to highlight some of the things that Airpower Foundation is working on to better serve those communities, especially when the mental health issue is on the rise and PTS is a real thing.
Yeah, it is truly an epidemic. I don't think people really understand the severity or the challenges that our veterans are facing right now in that mental health world.
Mhm. And so let's talk about what you guys have created with your therapies. These are brand new. You had your Patriot Roundup, your annual Patriot Roundup, and you guys have accomplished so much in those powerful new programs. Can you break them down for us?
Yeah, we are so thrilled because, we're not changing our mission. We're just adding to so that we're able to help more of our military and our veterans and also their families. So I'll talk just really briefly about our Equine Therapy and Retreat Center. This is something so special, and it's really near and dear to my heart because I've seen the difference a horse can have in a person's mental health and just providing some hope and some rebuilding of confidence, quite frankly. And this program will provide opportunities for veterans and their families and children to come out to the ranch in Decatur, Texas, to have some respite, to allow the horses to begin to put them on that path of healing. And not only will they have the equines, but there's also fishing and hunting and target shooting and camaraderie and bringing veterans together where they can share with one another some of the challenges, because we know you have to start talking about it to get on that road to healing. You have to get it out. You have to talk to with people that understand some of the things that you're going through. And one of the most exciting things that's happening is the one of the ladies who works with the equine therapy. She is a veteran. And so she gets it. She understands. She knows the trauma and some of the experiences. So she's seen it. She has seen it firsthand. And I love that. It's just a great extension to the program.
So let's also talk about two other favorite components to the programs that you are adding to the amazing work. You have the canine program, and then you also have what I love is the farmer and the training component with one of the Texas schools. Can you talk about those two?
Yeah, so I'll start with the service dog program, and these dogs are incredible. I've seen them work. I've seen them work with a veteran when they've been in a crowd, and I didn't notice that their anxiety level was going up, and they were dealing with some stress and anxiety, but the dog knew, and it just started working, and I just saw that veteran just changed. I was like, wow, this is incredible. But these are Belgian Malinois, they're legacy dogs, and they are smart. They are the best companion for some of these service members and veterans that need that support, that need that help, that need that companionship to make it through the next day. And so on and so forth. And so they're trained specifically, each veteran has a different challenge and need. And so we look at that and what is it that's going to help this individual or this veteran be successful in life and to have that quality of life. And so the dog is trained specifically to support that need of the veteran. So we're really proud of Joshua is our trainer that has come on board, and he is an amazing. And also, he's a combat Army veteran, so he understands and he knows, and that's wonderful. So we're surrounding all of our programs are being surrounded by veterans, and we love that. And then our workforce development program is, I mean, what can I say? I'm just excited about this program. When you are able to find that connection again and find your place in life and your passion. I mean, and there's something so special about working on the land and working with horses. And so we are partnering with a Texas A&M Agrilife Extension. And so individuals and veterans are going through this program, and then we're helping them be placed in our local ranches here in Texas, like the 4 Sixes and the Lazy E Ranch and Pitchfork Ranch. And one of our board members, Chris Coriel, he was really the driving force of making this happen. And we couldn't be more excited. Chuck Wright with the Texas Veterans Commission, he has been helping us bring these connections together. And so it has just been a beautiful program to see the collaboration of people all over the state of Texas willing to come together to support our veterans. It's pretty remarkable.
So I love that you have such a powerful arm for the veteran component and the families. I also want to hear about how you guys are serving on the ground, the active duty and the families, because that's a whole nother segment to what Airpower Foundation does. And I'd love for you to share what you do with the fleet and just what that looks like for those who are listening, because we have such a huge audience in the state of Texas for the show. And so I want them, if they, for some reason, don't know about Airpower, where can we all get involved to be able to serve? Is it, from the back to school backpacks? Is it, are you able to come alongside of a spouse? Or, what kind of options do we have to be able to serve and interface with our active duty and their families?
Oh, there are so many opportunities. And I think sometimes people forget that when our military are serving, the families are still here. And there is such a need and a gap there, right? And so Airpower tries to step in and support the base. So locally here in Fort Worth, we are so fortunate to have the NASJRB base here, and we are very involved there, and we love supporting our active duty, our reserve and guard. And so we have different programs. So throughout the year, coming up actually in November, we're doing our Thanksgiving giveaway. And so for 350 families, we're collaborating with a couple other organizations to bring a Thanksgiving meal to 350 families. And that's a great way to get involved. We have a big packing day the week before at the food bank. And then we deliver it all to the base that next week. And so there's many opportunities for you to get involved to support our families. We work with some of the morale and welfare programs. So when they do their fall festival, we provide the candies and all the fun things that go along with that. And so, just throughout the year, I think there's something happening. It feels like every week.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely every month there is something that is coming up, and there's ways to get involved. Just go to our website, airpowerfoundation.org. Say, I want to get connected, and we'll reach out to you. We have a great volunteer coordinator, Patty, who really finds where your passion point is and will connect you to the area and get you connected. But and there's actually opportunities to volunteer at the Equine Ranch. So if that's your passion, come out, and there's always work to do on the ranch.
Absolutely. I want to highlight, as we're in the second half of the interview, I also want to highlight, as we are coming up on the 25th commemoration of 9/11, let's kind of talk about some of those stories.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a heavy topic, right? I mean, you think about some of our veterans who have gone to, fight the war on terror, and they've come back, and there's so many struggles and so many challenges there. It's kind of like a silent war that is
Yes.
raging here
Yes, it
across our
is.
nation, and those
Yeah.
numbers are high. I mean, people don't like to talk about it because
Right.
there's a stigma when you talk about suicide and mental health and PTSD, but it's
Yeah.
real, and we have to start those conversations, and we have to ask the questions.
Yes.
I mean, we have 22 veterans. That number fluctuates up and down,
Yeah, it does.
but it's a
Yeah.
day. It's a day. I mean,
Yeah.
every day this is happening, and Air Power can't solve this issue by ourselves. We're not, we don't think that we can, but collaborating with people across the nation and people in our
Yes,
community to start the
absolutely.
conversation and find those resources and support that will provide that hope and healing. So we don't have 22 or 23 or 18
Right.
or whatever that number may be, as we continue down the road. And, I think I was telling you a story recently, Eden, and it's something that, I wake up in the morning, I think about. It's something that drives me when, this work is, being in the nonprofit world is not an easy job. And thank goodness for all of our volunteers
Yeah.
and our board and our supporters who help drive the mission. But it is hard work. We hear difficult stories, and we answer that call every time the phone rings to find a solution. And just recently, I spoke to somebody, connected me to a spouse who,
Mhm.
whose husband was battling with those invisible wounds, that those scars.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking because her husband was really struggling and battling and on a regular basis. And
Right.
these are our heroes.
Right.
Our heroes that have, when 9/11 happened, they said, you know what, send me. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm gonna serve my country. I'm gonna fight for our freedoms. And they've come back home, and they've been in this isolation of dealing
Exactly.
with this trauma by themselves. And we can't let that happen anymore. We owe them our lives, our freedoms, and we need to step up. We need to have the hard conversations, and we need to make a difference in the lives of our veterans. So this stops, and then the spouses and the children, because it doesn't just affect that veteran. So when someone's dealing with these heavy mental health challenges
Mhm.
like PTSD or PTS, or depression or suicide ideation, it affects the entire family. So kids who were, or children that were, children at not during 9/11 are now adults.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
dealing with that trauma still today. And
Yes.
so we are still supporting those children that are now adults because they have been left with those scars as well.
I wanted to highlight for the audience, September is Suicide Prevention Month. And as you talk about in an article you have written, it's an opinion article for the national magazine, that it is highlighting this year its message carries a particular weight. We rightly honor, I quote you saying, we rightly honor the men and women who served our nation, but honoring their service cannot simply mean remembering what they did 25 years ago. Our responsibility does not end when the uniform comes off. And you go on to talk about how it starts with a connection. And then you also go on to talk about where the Airpower Foundation really does stand in the gap for the caregivers, for those who are struggling with the invisible and visible wounds of war. And you also highlight, as we are coming into the month of September, and we have highlighted that 22 suicides a day are estimated, but you and I both know that that's a lot higher. And every it doesn't seem to be getting better, but what the Airpower Foundation is doing is not only raising the awareness and talking about it, you guys are actually linking up. You are actually on the front lines of freedom, wanting to help each and every story. Each and every story has a face to it. I
Mhm.
also want to highlight this, the Veterans Crisis Line, the 988.
Mhm.
Dear friend of mine who is a former Air Force Spouse of the Year helped co-found it, Kristen Christie. And so I want to highlight for those who are tuning in the 988, whether you're a caregiver, a friend, a community member, a concerned community member, that is a great resource in addition to being on the ground like you guys are for our veterans and their families. I want to highlight something. We have about 3 minutes left. I have noticed since the COVID time period, and it hasn't gotten any better, an isolation component that is really affecting, and it has increased the mental health epidemic. And whether you are active duty, whether you are a veteran, or whether
Mhm.
you are within a community, that isolation component is one of the biggest lies that it's okay because we got our phones, we're all
Mhm.
connected, but at the end of
Mhm.
the day we're more lonely than ever before. There is a happiness crisis in this nation, and so
I
I'd love to
completely
hear your
agree.
thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, absolutely. I think 9/11 and then COVID, I
Mhm.
think that has just created such a, I mean, just, I mean, when you think about our society, and it is like you brought up the phone, and we think we're connecting with people, and we are to a degree, but it's
Yeah,
not the same of as like you and I right here
yeah,
having a real conversation and asking
exactly.
real questions, talking
Yeah,
about real issues that are happening in our country. And we know what happens when you're in isolation. You know, our mind plays tricks on us. We hear the lies.
yes,
We don't have
yes,
that human connection, and we need that human one-on-one connection to heal, to move forward, to have hope. I mean,
yes,
that's how we're wired. We are
yes,
relational beings. We are meant to
yes,
be around other individuals and friends
yes.
and family to lift us up, to encourage us. And we've lost that.
Mhm.
We've lost that in our country, and we have to fight to get that back. And not be afraid to ask questions. It's
Yes,
okay to ask the question. We need to ask
yes,
the questions, and we need to respond with truthful answers. And it's okay not to be okay. And one thing that I know this is a hard topic, and people usually like to tune out when you start talking about mental health and suicide ideations, but there is so much hope around this as well, because I want to remind everyone that we are a resilient people, and
yes,
we are a resilient country, and we are a country and people of hope, and
yes,
you know, bright outlooks, and being able to turn bad situations into good,
yes.
finding that healing and opportunity. So I don't want to lose sight of that, that yes, this is a hard, you know, hard topic to talk about. And, but there is still so much hope in that, because we are talking about it and we are so resilient. I mean, after 9/11, I think we have witnessed the resilience of this
Yes,
country and of our people. And I'm so proud to be an American. I'm so proud to call, you know, the US my home, and that's because of the resilience of our military and the resilience
absolutely.
of our veterans.
Yes, well put. In the final 20 seconds we have left, I just want to highlight something that you said. And it impacts this next generation. The Air Power Foundation, together with your volunteers, together with you and your team, are really impacting the stories of yesterday to share for the stories of tomorrow and to let the next generation know. I had a Air Force combat pilot come on my show, and she was a fighter pilot during Iraq, got shot down. She's now raising our next generation. And she said, Eden, she said, the biggest disservice we are doing to this nation is we're not telling those stories to our next generation. They need to know, they need to understand, they need to know what 9/11 actually stood for. And you guys are doing that. You guys are impacting those military kids. You guys are impacting the caregivers and the kids of the veterans and the greater community with all of these opportunities to tell the stories and also for the healing.
Yeah, it is so important and critical and crucial to be able to provide those gathering opportunities for people to hear stories. I mean, I've been hearing so many stories since I've joined Airpower, but there are still I learn something every day, something new. And we have to continue that. We have to continue to share those stories throughout, what our work that we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Airpower Foundation, Melissa Kithas, Executive Director, thank you so much for being here at the All American Book Club. And we look forward to having you come back. God bless you guys. Thank you for what you're doing.